Hi guys, my name is Mimi and this is my YouTube channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on that video, and if you're returning, thank you so much. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is we're actually going to be reviewing this eyeshadow palette by Essence. It's called Witch Side. It has really nice shades, and I'm also going to be giving you some tips on how to combine eyeshadow colors on your eyelid. And yeah, let's get in. Okay, so all I did is I concealed my dark marks on my face. I don't have any foundation on. I am so sorry. So the first thing you need to do is you need to prime your eyelids, and I'm actually using my Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer, and it's really good. So this is the eyeshadow primer that I'm talking about, and I'm just gonna quickly blend it in with my finger. Okay, you can use a blending brush if you want to prime my lid properly. I actually saw Tandy Gama giving this palette away, or she has a giveaway of this palette, and I remembered that, oh my word, I have the same eyeshadow palette and I never used it. So that's why I'm reviewing this eyeshadow palette. Okay, so the colors that we're going to be using from this shade are pretty much neutral colors. We're going to start with this brown and then use this reddish, pinkish, violetish kind of color, and then go for this dark brown color here. And then from there, in our inner lid, we'll use this one, this pinkish light mauvish kind of color, light pinkish color, or you can even use white. If you don't have this eyeshadow palette, you can use any eyeshadows, it will work. You'll see with the colors that I'm going to use. Some of the eyeshadow palettes or eyeshadows that I would recommend is the Beauty Treat. It really has some really dope ass nice color palettes. And you can also use this Obsession eyeshadow palette. It's also good and it's affordable also. Another one that you can use that has the similar colors or colors like this is the Smudge Vixen Glaze Edition. Or you can go into any store and just get these single pods. I really like these Essence single pods. They're really good and they work really nicely. Or you can just get must-haves, these small little pods also by Essence. Or you can just get the Revlon Color Stay Cream Eyeshadow. It's also a very good one. It works really nicely also. Other little eyeshadow that you can get, stacks of eyeshadows. I know that Wet n Wild also has these mini little eyeshadow palettes, and they're very affordable, and they're really pigmented. We're going to start with our transition shade, and that's the Supernatural shade. We're going to pick it up on our brush, and we're going to put it right here in our eye socket. Right here, deep in our eye socket. We're not going to go beyond our eye socket. So you might be asking yourself, how do you pick the transition shade? Depending on the eye look or the colors that you're going to be using, I'd always advise you to start with a color that is similar to your skin tone, because a transition shade is actually the shade that pretty much creates a gradient effect, and it helps all the shades to kind of come together, if I can put it like that. So we're not going to take any color above our crease. We're just going to keep it here, right here in our eye socket, and literally just press it in. What we're going to do is we're going to blend the color in. I'm going to pick up my blending brush and just blend it color in. So sorry that I'm looking down. I hope you guys can see. Okay, so when it comes to blending, no packing, just wind wipe motions or circular motions back and forth so that it's even, it's spread evenly. Okay, so we're just blending in, and we're blending in upward. We're blending in our transition shade. Okay, all the way in, and we're just using that brownish shade. I said it's called Supernatural. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with the brownish shade right in our crease, and you can see I'm pressing it into my eye socket right in there. Okay, with a light hand, and just make sure that you hold your brush near the end, or if you can hold it around about the middle part from the end. With a light hand, don't forget, with a light hand. Okay, light hand. We're gonna blend that in. And don't forget to tap your brush off when you pick up products to make sure that it doesn't cause a lot of fallout on your face. Okay, so now we're going to go into our second eyeshadow, and that's Potion. And we're going to pick it up with the small little precise brush. Just the point. And I'd advise you to always start round about the same area to make sure that it doesn't look all patchy, and it looks round about the same. So we're going to start near the crease, near the outer V, and then we're going to bring it in. Okay, as you can see, I'm bringing it in, and I'm just keeping it right in the crease area, right here. So patting motions makes the eyeshadow more pigmented, makes the eyeshadow more pigmented. So packing it in and just putting it in there for now. Okay, we're going to blend it out with that blending brush that we used before. So we're going to go back with that blending brush and just blend all of that together. Still in an upward motion. Still in that circular motion. You can't go wind wiper motions. Back and forth, wind wiper motions. Even with the wind wiper motions, circular motions. Going back and forth. In and out with those circular motion. And with those wind wiper motion. Okay. I'm gonna go in again with that crease brush that I use in my crease, and I'm just gonna pick up a little bit. I'm going to keep it in the crease still, just in this crease area. Gonna bring it in. Back and forth motion. Literally making that crease dark and pigmented now. So I want it to be really a nice cut off right there. Okay, so now we're gonna pick up that dark black shade. Oh, it's not black, it's actually dark brownish, with our brush, and we're just gonna put it in our outer V only, the outer V area, and we're just gonna come diagonally. Okay, we're just gonna pack it right there in the outer V. Also pressing it into the crease area. And with this outer V, I'd advise that you pick it up little by little and you don't pack on a whole lot of color. And we can bring this in now, but keeping it right there. Don't bring it in too far. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut our crease. And I'm going to be using my Essence Camouflage concealer. We actually did a review of this concealer. I'll leave it up somewhere here and then you guys can go check it out. And first thing that you should do actually, so that you don't use a lot, is just put the concealer on the back of your hand. This is to make sure that you don't use a lot of it, because you won't need a lot of that concealer. We just need a little small bit. Okay, so you can use what you actually need is a nice pointed brush that is going to be precise for you to be able to cut your crease. Here are some examples of these brushes that you can use. This also works. This also works, okay, like with this little point, but we're going to be using this one, and you can actually get this for free. It comes with these it comes with this Revlon Color Stay Cream eyeshadow. I just forgot that it's an eyeshadow, and you can pick it up. It picks up the product so nicely, I will not lie to you. Even though it's so tiny and small, but it really does the job. It gets the job done. Okay, so I said you're first going to put it here, okay, and you're going to look up. Where it cuts when you look up, you're going to cut a bit higher than that, okay? So that's what you're going to do. First things first, you can just join it here, depending on where you want it to start. But if you're going to be doing a half moon, I advise that you start literally right here at the beginning of your eye, so that it looks very, very nice. Okay, so close your eye for this. Look at the one eye. I'm just gonna give it a small tail, and then you quickly fill that in with concealer. So this is a good brush. As you can see, I'm picking it up slowly but surely. And I'm cutting my crease. Okay. So we're just gonna do a half moon shape. Just make sure it's precise. Okay, so if you don't know where it should end at the end of your pupil. That's where it should end. And then we're just gonna sort of pat. You can wipe off the brush so that you don't have any concealer, but you can just use your finger either way. And just pat so that it doesn't have that segregation line that looks just scary when you're looking at people's eyeshadows. And you can just pat it so that it sort of blends in nicely and it sits in nicely near the edge or near the end. I'm gonna go in with that pinkish, lightish, whitish shade, and we're gonna pick it up with a nice flat eyeshadow brush, and we're just gonna use patting motions here because we want it to look pigmented. We're gonna pat it in with the fallout of this shade. Pat that in. It's crazy. All the other shades don't have fallouts and this one has fallouts. That's weird. And as you can see, I cut it here. I didn't cut it right here from the beginning. I cut it round about here. Depending on how you want it to look, you can cut it where you want to cut it. You can cut it higher, you can cut it lower. When it comes to this part, whatever you feel works for you will be good. It will work. Whatever you feel works for you, it'll be good, it'll work. It'll do the job perfectly. Okay, so another thing that I like to do is give it that gradient effect. And for doing that, all you need to do is just go back with that color that you used in your crease, and you kind of just join them together just by patting that in. You can pat it in, or you can use a flicking outward motion. Okay, as you can see, we're gonna go back into that black shade again. Just kind of circular motions just to blend it in. Blend, 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 blend. Go back in to that white shade just to give it a nice end finish. Okay. Then you can just keep going through those shades till you get what you want and what you feel is what you want to see on an eyelid. You'll be able to see. It's not like you won't be able to see. You'll be able to tell as you look in the mirror what you want. Are you satisfied with the way it currently looks? Using just pretty much 4 to 3 shades, and this is just a normal everyday look that you can pull or put together on a budget. It's very affordable, and this eyeshadow palette is really, really nice. Nice pigmented. It's nice and pigmented. It has very nice colors and some bright colors also. It's super nice. I always say if you're going to give something away, it should be something that you really, really, really like and something that you'd really, really use. So, yeah. She's giving away a really good eyeshadow palette. Okay, and that is the look. And I'll finish off the look so that we can discuss how to pick the right shade for your eyelid, for whatever look you want to go for. Okay guys, so I did the rest of my face, and you can actually check that out. I did a video. I'm actually reviewing 2 separate eye foundations, not eye makeup. 2 separate foundations, one on one side, the Wow foundation, and Create Your Own on the other side. You can quickly go check that out. Also, I'll leave a link somewhere. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly put on a shade on my brow bone. I did my brows also. Let's quickly see which one we can use. We can use Talisman or we can use Amulet. Either one that you want to use, it'll look nice and it'll tie up the whole thing. So I like to start here, though your brow bone is pretty much this area. So you can use any. From there, we'll blend it with our finger. We just putting the shade on now. Okay. And then just blend with your finger. So I did the other eye. I stuck on some eyelashes. And I put on some white eyeliner under my eyes. There we go. I use I don't know where the pencil is now. Let's see. You know, the mirror that comes with this eyeshadow palette just kind of looks so fantastic. It heightens everything up. Makes everything look super, super all up in your face. Okay. So I'm blending that out. And the eye pencil that I used is from Essence. It's a white waterliner. But I also have this Wet n Wild one. You know how much I love Wet n Wild. I'm just a Wet n Wild crazed girl. Color Icon. Or you can just use the casual pencil by Essence, which is white. Also. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I was still about to tell you guys about the different parts of the eye, so that, you know, when somebody discusses an eye with your eye look, or you look at eye look tutorials, you know what they're talking about. So this is the brow bone, and this is above the crease. Then we have the crease here. Then we have the deeper crease, which goes in there. Then we have your inner lid, the middle lid. Then we have your outer lid right about here. In here is called the inner corner, or it's called the inner tear duct. Okay, so if you know which part is where, then you'll know which colors to put where and how it pretty much works. Okay, so using the color wheel is also another very, very great thing that you can do or use, so that you don't go so wrong or off when it comes to comparing shades or matching shades when it comes to eyeshadow. Okay, using the color wheel, there's different methods that are used with playing around with colors, but it's not that you can't break the rules, because rules are there to be broken. So you can do pretty much whatever you want, but usually when it comes to eyeshadows, these are the ways that people usually use, or this is the simple way that you can use when you are just a beginner and you're not sure what goes with what, where to put what, and how these colors sort of work along. So we have the complementary eyeshadow comparer, or eyeshadow matcher, or eyeshadow put together, whatever you might call it when it comes to the color wheel. It's the complementary, and when you use the complementary, it's actually two shades that are opposite each other on the color wheel, using the color wheel. So these two shades are opposite each other, okay? Or you can use the analogous way, which is the three shades that are next to each other on the color wheel. They sort of work in a harmony. They work together, you know, they create a nice contrast. Or you can use the triadic way, which is a triangle, and use totally different shades and you put them all together. But you have to be careful with that one. It's a bit, you know, taboo, because it's just matching those shades together is going to be a bit difficult, unless if you let one be dominant over the other one. Then another way that you can use is a split complementary, and that is also like a triangle, but it's a triangle that is in a certain direction, where you use two colors that sort of complement each other, opposite from each other, and you add one that is completely a different shade, okay? It adds a great contrast to the color, and it has a bit of an harmony to it. Or you can use the triangle one, where it's just a color like this, a color like that, another color there, and you just combine them all together. You know, one of the two will be obviously, you know, complementary of the two shades, and then you'll just mix them with the rest that is like completely out, but it will work on your eyes. Or you can use the square or diamond shaped kind of look when it comes to eyeshadows and using the color wheel, where you pick one there, you pick another one here, you pick another one there, and you pick another one there, and you just combine them nicely and you put them nice presentably. Some of them will obviously, you know, complement each other because they are completely like opposite each other, and some of them will be triadical because they're like two separate shades, but will be like, you know, going in together. One that I really like, and I really like doing this, is using the monochrome, where you have one shade, not one shade, you have one color and you just use different shades of it, or you use different tones of it. Yes, you use different tones. A person who actually explains this very, very well is a makeup artist that I really love by the name of James Welsh. I leave the link of the video down on my description box. Then you guys can check it out. He really explains this really, really well, and you can understand it, you know. So you can never go wrong with makeup. Just remember that whatever you feel looks good on you, you can do that. You can also ask me any questions. I will definitely answer all questions. And remember, there's no question that's ever wrong when it comes to makeup. Every question is acceptable and it's perfect. And yeah, you know, keep practicing when it comes to makeup. The only thing that actually works is practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. So this is the finished off eye look that I pulled, and I think it really looks good. You know, I'd recommend this eye palette. I've had it on pretty much now because my baby was crying. I've had it on for like 2 hours. I had to go attend to my daughter, and yeah, it's still sticking on. There's no creasing, there's absolutely nothing. It looks fantastic to me. It looks really great. I would recommend that you guys do that, or you can go enter Tandikama's little competition that she has with the give off, then you can win it. Ooh. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, see you next week. Mwah.